Big Questions with the Dead Milkmen. This week's question, and happy birthday, Joe. This week's question is, what song lyrics have left you befuddled? And you get bonus points if you can tell us how you would fix those lyrics. So for me, I'm going to go with a song. It's actually a good song. It doesn't have, the lyrics are bad, but it's a great song. It's Black Sabbath's Iron Man, which I found out, I always thought Ozzy Osbourne wrote the lyrics, but it turns out Ozzy Osbourne came up with the title. Yeah, and then that's right, 2 words, and he got writing credit. And then Geezer Butler wrote the lyrics, and I used to think there was a circular thing where he saw the lyrics on a 12-year-old boy's notebook, and then he just copied them down, and then 12-year-old boys started putting those lyrics. The song starts out promising. There's this big Iron Man. I like to think of it as like a statue in Town Hall, and they're kind of speculating. You know, is he life or death? Has he thought within his head? That's pretty cool. But then what happens is they get to this point where it goes, we'll just pass him there. Why should we even care? And that's a decent point. You know, it's just, again, I've walked past statues all the time and going, I don't give a shit. So that's where that is. And then it goes, now that's fine. That's act 1. Act 1, big guy, center of town, not bad. Then it goes, it has to give a backstory. And the backstory is he was turned to steel in the great magnetic field. That's not a thing. That's not a thing that would ever happen. I took physics classes. It's not a real thing. And the other thing is he's Iron Man, but he was turned to steel. So you got 2 strikes against it. And then they're like, when he traveled time for the future of mankind. Again, doesn't make a lot of sense. And then we get down, so they're ignoring Iron Man. And the next stanza of lyrics is my favorite because they rhyme the word world with unfold. So it's nobody wants him. He just stares at the world, planning his vengeance that he will soon unfold. That's a little bit of a fudge right there. And I've written some bad lyrics. But we go down from there, okay? And now Iron Man is upset that people are ignoring him. So they're like, vengeance from the grave kills the people he once saved. That seems a little extreme to me. You know, he's not Carrie White. They didn't pour pig's blood on his head at the prom. He just ignored him, and he decides he's going to kill them. So then we get to the point where he's killing them, and then we have heavy boots of lead. Again, another metal that isn't iron is introduced. Fill his victims full of dread. Running as fast as they can, Iron Man lives again. Well, of course they're running as fast as they can. He's trying to kill them. It's the most redundant lyric. When I hear it now, I like to put a little line in there. It goes, walking at a leisurely pace. I think they'll probably be okay. So, this song is, and again, it's a great song. I love Black Sabbath. I'd seen Black Sabbath a couple times. Great song, great band, but the lyrics could use some work. So this is how I would fix it. Leave it vague. Sometimes ambiguity is your friend in songwriting. So I would leave the first part where they're speculating. You know, is he alive? Is he dead? Then if you've got to give a backstory, make it legend. Say like, legend says he was turned to steel. Then people go, well, obviously, these are a bunch of, farmers saying this and not actual scientists. It's not Brian May from Queen, speculating on it, as an astrophysicist. No, these are a bunch of hicks going, probably got turned to steel in that great magnetic field, as opposed to the lesser magnetic field. And then at the end of it, instead of having him come to life and step on anybody, leave him where he is and just go back to speculating on what's going on in his head, or if it rains and he starts to rust. Or the only thing would be good to switch this with the Tim Woodsman from Wizard of Oz, so that the minute's like, we don't care, and Dorothy brings him back to life. He starts going ape shit. And
you know what? Iron Man could sleep for like 1,000 years and then come back and do some shit.
Yeah. It's like, I just like the idea of people speculating on him. It's a great song, again, but it is, in fact, very, very, very lyrically bad. So that is my take on it. I believe Birthday Boy Joe with the new haircut is
Thank you. The song that befuddled me when I was a youngster, 1973, it came out. It's by a band called The Sweet, and it's called The Ballroom Blitz. Maybe you thought, but what is going on in the song? I don't know. It starts out with the band somebody in the band says to other members of the band, "Are you ready, Steve? Are you ready, Mick? Are you ready, whoever, Andy?"
Quincy.
Yeah, let's go. So they're going. I guess they're playing a show, right? But the first lines of the song say that things are getting so hard, living with the things you do to me. So he's talking about, I guess, a girlfriend or something. My dreams are getting so weird, and he starts saying, I'm going to tell you everything I see. And then what he sees is, I guess something that happens at a show where there's an attack that happens, which is the Ballroom Blitz, but it seems to be mixed up in time, maybe because it's a dream now. I'm just now realizing that's what happens in dreams. So maybe it's not as bad as a song as I thought. But Rodney said vagueness is good for a song, and maybe the song is really vague, but it's very confusing to me too.
It allows you to make your own story.
There's a man in the back that says, "Everyone attack," and it turns into a Ballroom Blitz. That's the first time we get to hear the title of the song.
Are they talking about skinheads attacking all the punk rockers?
Well,
No,
this
this
is
is
before
way
there was
before that,
punk
yeah.
rock. Although when I first saw punk rock, it brings this song to mind that this could be a pit or something that happens in the
I was
song.
thinking it was a pit too. It's weird, yeah.
But they never say anything about what the results of the attack are. Although they do say later in the song that the band starts leaving because everyone stopped breathing. But then later, even after that, the man says attack again. I guess it's a chorus. But I guess if everyone stopped breathing, that's a really bad thing. So it could have been like a terrorist attack or something, and the band decides that they can't play to no one.
Well, there was the girl in the corner warned them.
The girl in the corner also is the
yeah.
one that she says she's the passionate one.
Yeah.
And the way the guy sings that, it's like, oh, she's not really the passionate one.
No,
There
she's
must be
not.
somebody
No,
else who's more passionate. It never explains what she's passionate about. Is she passionate about the music that they're playing? Is she passionate about lovemaking? Also, that same woman, I think, comes up later, and she's everyone's woman. Now she's a girl, actually. The girl in the corner is everyone's woman. She'll kill you with the wink of her eye.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe she's a groupie. I don't know. It's
just around the time of like Patty Hearst and the SLA.
Actually, it was, oddly enough. Yeah.
But I wasn't watching the news enough back then to know to make that connection that it might be Patty Hearst. I don't think it is though. And the band's from England. Why would they care about Patty Hearst?
Joe, you know what always bothered me about that song?
What?
In the beginning of the song, he's like, "Are you ready, Steve? Nick? Oh, yeah. Okay, I've been in this band for 40 years. We start to go out on stage, and I go, everybody ready? At least one person, wait a minute. Wait, tuning. Hold on. Tuning.
Wait.
Tuning.
Can we make this joke?
That in Bucky Fellini, though, in the beginning of Bucky Fellini, like Joe.
Yes, we
I don't know.
on Ballroom Blitz, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone, all right, fellas, let's go. They played the song.
Fuck it, we're going anyway.
It's like
Doing it live.
Started up. All right, here we go.
But I really like the song. But I don't think I can make it any better than it. I'll say.
The Damned do a pretty fine cover of that song.
Yeah.
All right. So who's next?
I believe that that Dan would be next. His theme was last week.
All right, so I chose a song by the band Mr. Bungle off of the Disco Volante album. It's called Myshka Skwoz. And I chose it, I guess, for obvious reasons, because there's no sense to it. And I'm assuming it's a made-up language by Mike Patton. And I got it on cassette when I was, it was probably like 17 maybe. And there was a thing in there to mail something, a self-addressed stamped envelope. And they sent me a bunch of stuff. It's like this weird art that has to do with it. And like, t-shirt order form and stuff. But then there's a lyric sheet Well, there's also this on the one side. And then there's a lyric sheet for Myshka Mouse Skwoz. I'm going to have to scan. I guess I can scan this in and maybe send it somehow. But it's pretty amazing. And it actually reminds me a lot of like weird stuff that I did in school suspension, like writing. Because it's on line paper too. Like it's like Xerox. Or I'm sorry, I'm Xeroxed. Well, I probably was. I don't know. This is the 90s. So I guess we'll just put like a link to the song so people can hear it, because I could actually try to read some of these. Let's see. Where would it start? I don't even know. Zuma ma manu ma manoya z nan he do deya da doya. It's pretty crazy.
Has
And
anybody,
there's
did
like
you ever-
accents and stuff too. What?
did you ever search online? Like, has anybody ever, like, is it like a secret code? Has anybody tried to like decipher it?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I didn't really do any. Actually, to be honest with you, I probably should have looked on some online research. But when I knew I had this, because I'm a hoarder, I found it. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe I still have this.
You know, Stevie Nicks has been singing in a weird made-up language for decades now. Okay, I look forward to seeing that. Not Stevie Nicks. I look forward to seeing the lyrics from.
It's
I don't know if
probably
I've-
the most insane songs musically too that I've ever heard.
We actually played a show with Mr. Bungle once.
Yeah, was that out west?
It was in a theater in Guerneville, California, if I remember correctly. It was
Yes.
it was a very interesting show.
Less said, the better.
So, well, I would preface my answer with the statement that I'm not particularly a lyrics-oriented person when I listen to music. When I hear a song for the first time, I'm more focused on the drumming, but also the chords and the melody and the music part of it. The lyrics are definitely secondary to my experience of most songs, which maybe is the reason that I listen to a lot of instrumental music and like weird electronic ambient stuff. That being said, the song I want to talk about is Bruce Springsteen's "Blinded by the Light."
That's Mannfred Mann.
Oh, I thought Bruce Springsteen wrote the song. Mannfred Mann covered it.
Oh, I thought Mannfred Mann wrote it. Okay, I stand corrected. All right.
Bruce Springsteen wrote, from my research, which is basically Wikipedia, apparently on Bruce's first album, Clive Davis said, we need a single, write some more songs. So he wrote a couple more songs, and I think Blinded by the Light was the first single off the album. And it didn't go anywhere. It was a bomb. Although Philadelphia viewers will know that Bruce Springsteen was heavily popular in the Philadelphia area when we were all growing up. He was very popular here before he was popular anywhere else. And the Philadelphia people love him. I personally am not a super fan of his, but whatever. Anyway, there's the famous line in the chorus where Springsteen says, "Cut loose like a deuce, a runner in the night." And Mannfred Mann recorded it, and they replaced that line with "revved up like a deuce, a runner in the night." So for those that don't know, a deuce is in reference to like a hot rod, like a deuce coupe or something. And apparently Bruce was into like hot rods. Maybe he and his friends would race cars in the wilds of New Jersey or whatever they were doing over there. But as a kid, we always thought the line was wrapped up like a douche or wrecked up like a douche.
My parents thought that too. Everybody thought that.
Referencing the feminine hygiene product. So I was always curious about that. And according to the Wikipedia page, I don't know how accurate this is, that apparently even Bruce is pretty amused by that. He thought it was pretty funny, although he's laughing all the way to the bank because apparently Mannfred Mann's version of the song was a hit, and he probably made quite a bit of money from the playing of the song by Mannfred Mann. So if I were to rewrite that line, I was like, what could I do to this line? And I was like, well, maybe I can rewrite this line and make it about constipation. So I had clogged up by a deuce, another dookie in the sluice.
Upper decker.
So I mean, I'm sorry, I'm just not a lyrics person. I do like certain lyrics. In fact, I have some examples. I do have a couple of favorite lyrics from songs, and I'll tell you what they are. The first one I want to cite is an Elvis Costello song called Watching the Detectives. And it has the line, cut to the baby taking off her clothes, close up of the sign that says, we never close. I just love those two lines because of the rhyme is very forced, but it makes you think twice about what he just said. And then the other one I want to cite is another one of my favorite bands is XTC. And they have a song called All of the Sudden, It's Too Late. And at the end of a couple of the verses, they have a group of 3 lines. The first one, the first verse ends with the lines, life's like a jigsaw, you get the straight bits, but there's something missing in the middle. I really like that. And then I think it's the third verse ends with, life's like a firework, you're only lit once, and you must stand and radiate correctly. So anyway, there's my lyrical content comments.
My friend Zoog from Angel Spit calls those tattoo lines. He said every song should include a tattoo lyric so good you would get it tattooed on yourself. And I think that's, yeah. Also, I once met a woman whose brother-in-law thought that in the song Ziggy Stardust, Bowie was saying, instead of making love to his ego, making love to his eagle. Like, making love to his eagle. Oh, yes. Let's do recommendations, shall we?
What did he say? Hold on. Does he say in our Moon Age Daydreams, just smoke it like a big monkey bird? Smoke it like a big monkey bird. Go back and listen to it.
All right. Oh, okay. Where are we? Yeah, and in Billie Jean, Michael Jackson says, "The chair is not my son." The chair is not my son.
I heard David Letterman say that, and then I could never hear it different.
I know you can never hear it because then they played it with that fake thing where it goes, Billie Jean is not my girl, she's girl, says, I am the one. The chair is not my son. Yes, I know, Joe. It never leaves your head, but it's going to be like making love to his eagle. Okay, where are we? Let's do recommendations. I've been pushing for that. So I get to start. So my recommendation, because it is Halloween time, which should really start in the beginning of September and run all the way right up to Thanksgiving. But I'm going to recommend that you listen to some episodes of the You're Wrong About podcast. And these episodes are particularly the episodes where they read from the book Michelle Remembers, which some of you folks might know is the book that started the Satanic Panic. It was a big bullshit book that a lot of people bought into. They'd say it should be called Unethical, the book. Basically, a woman fell in love with her psychiatrist, started making up stuff, and there were a lot of people that lost their families, their jobs, everything because of this book. They actually go through it and have a lot of fun with it, and they'll be laughing at it, and then they'll stop every now and then they'll say, oh yeah, but just a reminder, this ruined a lot of lives. So, you know, and of course Oprah bought into it because Oprah's a dumb shit. So she is. Oprah's a dumb shit. I'm not saying anything people don't know. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to recommend, also for Halloween spirit, is it's a little segment. There's a film called Tales of Halloween. It's from 2015. It's kind of like the film Trick or Treat, which is a perennial favorite of everybody. It's that film's ugly kid brother, and there's a segment in it called The Night Billy Raised Hell. And this is the spirit of Halloween just shoved into about 8.5 minutes. It's available on YouTube, so we'll put up the link. Please go watch it. It's insane. You'll never look at Barry Bostwick the same way again. And in the middle of it, there's a cameo by Adrienne Curry, who was the first America's Next Top Model. She was Mrs. Peter Brady for a while. But the best thing about her was a couple of years ago at Comic-Con, she was there and she was cosplaying, and somebody actually tried to rape one of the cosplayers, and she spotted this, and she had a bullwhip as part of her costume, and she beat the rapist senseless. So yeah, so these are the fun facts that you get when you watch our show. That's the world we live in. But Adrienne Curry, hero of the Dead Milkmen. So now I move on. Joe, your recommendations.
I would like to recommend Pope Francis's latest encyclical. It's called FRATELLI.
What's it called?
I need a drink.
Have a drink. FRATELLI Tutti, which means the brotherhood of all, or the brotherhood and sisterhood, or all humanity, or whatever. I think it's an important message. It's actually directed to people of any faith or no faith at all. It's not just for bishops, like I guess these encyclicals normally are.
Bishop.
Which means letter. I found out it means letter. And it's available for free in 7 different languages, including English. It was written in Spanish on the Vatican's website, so you don't need to pay a dime for it. It's like 280 some paragraphs long, but it talks about how, it's an important message for where we are now in humanity, whatever. And also I'd like to recommend a YouTube series that my friend Terrence recommended to me. And it's War on Sensemaking. And it's especially the 5th one, because that kind of encapsulates all the ones that came before it. It's on the Rebel Wisdom YouTube channel, and it's a talk by Daniel Schmachtenberger. It's an hour and a half long. So I don't know.
If you call Pope Francis, he goes, everybody calls me psycho. Nobody calls me Francis. Stripes. Come on, people. You've seen Stripes. Everybody's seen Stripes.
Lighten up, Francis.
Lighten up, Francis. You have any more recommendations, Joe, or is that?
Well, I don't know. Two is probably plenty for now.
I feel like you've joined a cult. I'm worried here. I'm going to deprogram you or something.
All right. I also recommend the Netflix series, why not, called The Social Dilemma, even though I've only watched part 1 so far, but I'll probably finish it. And this also has something to do with the consensus of truth. It's not a documentary per se, although it's part documentary and part drama, because what it interweaves interviews with people who've worked in social media tech companies. They say very interesting things, and a fictional story that goes through that focuses on a particular family and how social media is affecting them. So I've wasted at least.
Yeah, Dan, before Joe recommends a papal bull from 1216.
Hey, you know what? It's his birthday, all right?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. This is
right. I've had
drinking since the sun came up.
It's different. It's different than your 40th birthday, Joe, where we tried to make you drink 40 40s.
That was fun.
Dan,
you know what? I'm actually going to recommend that. Well, first, I want to say that I don't think I couldn't get bonus points for this one, because I don't think there's any way I could change the lyrics to something that was, a language that was created. But I would recommend listening to this album. Anybody out there watching this who has not heard this album, check it out, and don't judge it by the first song, because what I did was I had it on cassette and I listened to the first song and I was like, this is garbage. And then I didn't listen to it again for a while. And then I had it on again and I was like, oh yeah, this sucks. And then one day I left it on and the second song came on and I was like, whoa, this is cool. And then every single song is different. So it's almost like there's something for everyone if you're a weirdo on the weirdo spectrum. Yeah, especially it's almost kind of like an art piece too, because there's a section of it called The Bends and it's a bunch of little short songs. And I had like a waking nightmare listening to it of like this, like short film in my head when I listened to it. And I honestly, I haven't listened to it in a while, and I had it on tonight because I was gonna, I chose this one, but so check it out. That's it.
Dean, do you want to recommend page 16 of the Voinovich manuscript?
Yes. Read the life works of Philip K. Dick and his. I would like to recommend an app that you can get for your iOS device. I think it might be available for Android devices, but I'm not sure. It's called Xynthesizr, and it's like a grid-based thing.
Whoa.
So basically what you do is you just tap it and you can put notes on the grid. And it has controls for the different sounds. So you can control the sound of the synthesizers, pick the key. So I guess everything within the grid is within key, so it will sound quote unquote harmonious. There's all kinds of like LFOs and all kinds of stuff. And it's just kind of cool. I'll link to a video. There's a guy out there who I follow on YouTube called Mylar Melodies. His name is Alex. And he actually did a couple years ago, he was at the Moog Fest in, I guess it's down in North Carolina. And he actually did a live performance using just this app on his phone. He jammed for like an hour on it, and it's pretty incredible. So I'll provide the link to that. Anyway, that's my recommendation.
Cool.
I think we've reached the end of the show. We'll say goodbye.